Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Anti-Myelin Society podcast. We are
PLCs with disabilities.
And in our podcast, we'll explore various topics related to living with multiple sclerosis, which is commonly referred to as MS. And in our discussions, we'll cover building a career, navigating MS as a parent, mental health, dealing with symptoms, and more.
We aim to share insights and stories that resonate with everyone, regardless of your relationship or knowledge of MS. We hope you stay with us to support, listen, understand, and have a great time.
Yes, so stay tuned to the show.
Welcome back to another episode of the Anti-Myelin Society with your hosts, JoJo and Tati. How's everyone doing today?
Hello, everybody. I hope everyone's having a beautiful day. Tati just told me a joke right before we started recording.
And we're starting.
Yes, so I'm going to tell it. So the joke was, do you want to hear a joke about paper?
No, because it's my joke.
Oh, don't worry, it's terrible.
But fucking.
So we officially published our first episode last night on Tati's birthday. Birthday, Tati.
Oh my God, thank you. Happy belated birthday, JoJo. It's 2 Leos in the building.
Hey.
Shout out to them Leos.
July and August Leo. Nice. So we published our first episode last night. It was super exciting. So we're officially on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart. Working on the other ones, did not expect to have to pay for them, but we're still working on it, everybody.
But we have a YouTube as well.
Yes, we got YouTube. So please check us out. Another thing that we want to discuss is the first episode took us a while to actually publish because we had an echo and it was really difficult for myself to remove it. So we are an indie podcast. And for those who do not know what an indie podcast, basically we're funding everything on our own. We don't have any sponsors. We don't have any big name brands helping us, publish and produce and edit. And we're doing all this by ourselves. So it was a real struggle with the first episode. However, the next ones are a lot more clear. So in the first one, it might sound like Tati is talking to me over the phone.
But where my speech is slurred, which is a symptom
of MS.
So,
but it was based on trying to get someone to remove the echo and try to edit that first episode. So we know the audio is not the best. However, it's not as bad as it was in the beginning. Yes. And everything in its whole entirety. But yeah, I don't think it was bad. I think it was good.
The listeners should think of it as you're living as an MS patient. Where everything's fine, just something didn't exactly communicate as well as you thought it would. But the message is still there. Podcast is still there. We're still funny. We're still informative. We're still getting the job done. And with a little tweaking, i.e. medication, if you're still thinking as an MS patient, it's a lot better in the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and so on episodes. So you just have to give us a little bit of time, a little bit of grace, and it sounds better. We know it sounds a little choppy or sounds a little muffled, slurred speech, if you will. We know.
Yeah. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed listening to it again. Many different funny parts, especially that segment in the end. But anywho, let's go ahead and start this podcast. So, of course, we're going to start with our moments of gratitude. And the card that we pulled today is think about a favorite meal or food. Who introduced it to you? Go ahead, Tati.
Okay. So actually, I do have one. So when I was younger, there was this French restaurant in the city that my mom took me to for my birthday. It was so good. It was so quaint. It was so elegant. It was like I don't want to say it was in the trap, but it was like back in that corner back there. Like you couldn't see it from the street. I really don't even know how we got there, if I'm being frankly very honest. It's no longer around anymore because I asked her. It was just really good. It was chicken, if I'm not mistaken, but it was just like really flavorful, really seasoned. It's when I had like my first taste of wine because it was like an infused sauce with wine in it. So I felt very fancy because I was definitely like maybe 15, 14 at the time. So it was so elegant and fancy, and I just felt so girly pop and bourgeois, if you will.
Girly pop. Okay.
Girly pop,
Okay.
bourgeois.
Are you gonna tell us what it was? You don't remember?
I don't remember exactly what I had. It was more like the aesthetic, but I know the food was good. I know it was chicken and asparagus. And I want to say mashed potatoes, but it was like a wine sauce. But I'm not 100% sure. I know when anything too crazy, because again, I was a kid. My mom wasn't going to pay like me to eat something that I've never had before.
How old were you?
Like 15, 14, 15. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I will say, I'm gonna say two. So the first one would be chicken mole, and my mother makes a great chicken mole. I've actually never made it myself, but I would love to from scratch. However, that's my number one. And then of course, tortillas, homemade tortillas that my mom makes. Absolute fave. Absolute fave.
Oh, I didn't know we could have more than one.
I mean, what's the number two, Tati?
This crab cake I had last weekend at Swig's. I had a Caesar salad and a crab cake, and that crab cake was so delicious.
But those are your favorite meals?
That's my favorite crab cake I've ever eaten in my life. And I wanted more, but I felt like $13 for two was a little much. But I could see why it's worth it.
It was that good?
It was.
Okay.
I'm mad only one came on my Caesar salad.
I cannot. Definitely could have hooked you up.
They could have, because they weren't busy. Oh, I don't know why they couldn't.
They weren't busy.
They weren't. They weren't busy at all. They could have gave me two.
That's funny. But however, on this episode, we're going to discuss the Black experience and the experience dealing with MS for Hispanic slash Latinx. So la experiencia de Hispania Latinx con la esclerosis múltiple. I feel like I added some French vibes in there.
So we're gonna do what's it called when you speak Spanish and English? Spanglish.
Spanglish.
You're gonna put some Spanglish in this episode. I think that'd be cool.
Do you want to start?
It's up to you.
Go ahead. I want to hear what you got.
That kind of sounds like a battle rap disc. Give me what you got. Go, go, go. Well, from what I've researched and read, which I got from Gene Tech websites with 4 Black women who were on there. They had a YouTube I kind of like their website because it wasn't long videos. They were kind of short, but they did like snippets of like the importance part of each one. They talked about when they were initially diagnosed, which is our actual first episode of when we were first diagnosed with MS and how it affected us, but more so of how it affected their family, which I think we're going to get into at a different episode as well. For the Black experience, the number one thing that I took away from the research is to advocate for yourself. Black people have a horrendous history in the medical industry as far as being test subjects, as far as not being heard or validated or not being taken seriously. Many Black people have lost their lives due to negligence of the medical field, feeling like Black people don't feel the same kind of pain. Black people are using the medical field for drugs or trying to get a fix, or they don't think that we're competent enough to understand what's going on with our body, and we're just complaining to complain. So to advocate for yourself is very serious, whether you're going to different doctors, which can kind of be a pain in the butt and kind of be seen because your medical history does follow you. And it kind of seems like you're just trying to get a fix when you're just trying to get an answer. So one thing about people that I read is that a lot of us didn't get diagnosed until later in life previously, but now with us being younger and technology being more and Black people are starting to be in the medical industry more, we're getting diagnosed sooner. Black people, especially Black women, are higher risk of getting multiple sclerosis, which I did not know because, again, in the first episode, we talked about how when you first Googled multiple sclerosis, it was older white women. Now it's middle-aged Black women who are getting diagnosed sooner. So advocacy was the main thing that I really saw. Like most women, but especially Black women, we have that super woman or superhero aspect where we can handle a lot of different things. And that's not necessarily true. And if we ever do fall short, it's more damaging to us. So to have multiple sclerosis and not be at your highest level as society feels like you should be, or as you're quote unquote taught to be, it can be damaging to your self-esteem, to your health, because a lot of women will ignore it because they don't want to have to come to terms that something's wrong with them, or come to terms that they have to put a pause on their life, or adjust their life. But unfortunately, that's what you have to do. That's when I kind of say, well, for me, MS forced me to slow down
Mhm.
and stop because I was out there. I was out there.
You were
Just
all about.
I was out there. Like I was working a lot of hours. I was, out having fun. I was just not like really taking care of myself. I wasn't really eating that much. I was more so just like something quick, something quick, something quick. And money, money, money. And MS was like, okay, you can play that game if you want to. We gonna sit you down though. And that's what MS did. It sat me down and for a couple of hours. So it was great to see those women kind of come together. They all had different aspects. One woman, she lost her ability to walk and also her ability to write. She couldn't write anything legible. Remember, I asked you, I was like, is that a possible symptom for me?
Mhm.
Or is it just the fact that we're so used to technology now and we're just typing all the time that it's just not a skill that I'm practicing enough? And I was like, well, I do have to start writing more, which is why I like to write notes or I like to write lists and stuff. Or I just be at my desk at home and I'm just like writing stuff to make sure I can at least write clear.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking. I was like, is it because of my illness or is it because I'm just not using it anymore? And
Yeah.
we're so forced to type everything and use technology. I guess that was a couple points I just mentioned. Religion was another one that they brought up in the Black community. I feel like we all, or I wouldn't say all anymore because of the new generation, we're now focusing on religion and the aspect of actually being one with either Lord and Savior, universe, aspects of the world, or all of the above.
Yeah.
People don't think you can do both, but you can.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just interesting to see that some women who diagnosed with MS think of it as a punishment from God
Yeah.
and they think that God's trying to teach them something. So we've discussed it before where people will pray to be cured.
Mhm.
Allegedly, there's no cure. We talked about in that first episode, allegedly,
Allegedly.
not a cure. But people have to understand that God does work in mysterious ways. He's not going to ever cure you. And I want people to really understand that. Although people are saying, like, oh, I cured my MS by eating this certain way, or I did this and it cures it. If anything, you sustain your symptoms to where it's not happening as frequently. But in the Black community, because so many people, especially older generations, focus on religion so much, they will step away from medical help and focus on religious help, like that man touching you and you falling to the ground. I don't know if that's theatrics. I don't know if it's actually the Holy Ghost. For me, I feel like it's a seizure. I don't know. But, hey, it's completely up to you. I, for one, don't like to be touched. I didn't. And one person like threw a weighted blanket at somebody. Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
It was crazy. I was watching like crazy church.
Videos.
That's besides the point of the conversation that we're having.
Crazy church videos.
Like I said, it's the prayer that you have. It's not a pray for a cure. It's pray for patience. It's pray for a break where maybe the kids want to decide they want to go skating, but they don't want to go with you. And the dad's like, "Oh, well, I'll take the kids. Yada yada yada. I'll do this, that, and the third, whatever." And you can stay home and you can actually curl up with a good book and use that weighted blanket. Like those are the things that I feel are prayers that can have positive results. Because when you have prayers that are like, "Please, Lord, cure me," and you're not cured, not only do you lose a sense of faith, but you lose a sense of believing in yourself that you'll get better. And one of the main things about MS is you can't give up because we see a lot of people who get diagnosed and the pain is excruciating at first. When I was diagnosed, I lost the ability of like my whole left side while I was driving. Thankfully, I wasn't too far from home, and the person I was with at the time was able to come and help me. But if I would have just gave up and stopped, I would have probably been paralyzed on the left side and not getting the treatment I needed. So that was the thing I took away from the Black experience of one coming to term that us as Black women, we're not superheroes. And I know last year and TikTok, Black women were like, don't at me anymore. Don't include me. Don't have me be your savior. Don't ask me to come for help. Don't ask me to march for nothing. Don't ask my opinion. Black women took a step back and I can appreciate that. Another thing is to have your religion, but not let it overtake you. medical advice, especially if you find like a really great neurologist or a really great treatment facility to definitely move forward. And there are treatment facilities, our treatment facility is based off of religion. Did you know that? Yeah, it's based off religion.
The center in Atlanta?
No,
Oh,
the other place.
what other place?
What?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Oh, did you get the little
I
gifts
did.
and the
Of
stone?
course, it's in my car.
I thought that was super cute.
And I said, it was like, okay. And those little things can kind of help you because you can have religion and medical help all in one.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be separate,
yeah.
which I think the older generation kind of beat into your head. Avocation. Is that a word? Avocation. I feel like it's a word.
Advocacy.
Advocacy. Advocating for yourself
Yeah,
is really important, super important. I know a lot of us, we feel like we're not taken seriously being Black and Black women. We're not taken seriously in the medical field, but you have to be like, I want it notated. That was one thing I saw on someone's video. Even if they don't feel like it should be done, I want it notated in my chart that I asked for it.
yeah,
I want it notated in my chart that I want the test done.
yeah,
Even if you feel like I don't need it, I want it done.
yeah.
Because, baby, you're going to charge me anyway. So, does it really matter?
No,
I'm just saying,
don't
you're going to
charge
charge
me
me
anyway.
regardless.
Yeah.
No. Might as well do it while I'm here. Because if it's anything near Atlanta, I'm not going back because the traffic is ridiculous.
Yeah,
So I might as well do all the tests now.
yeah. We live far. We live
So
far from all the places.
if it's not telehealth, baby, I can't do it. But that's pretty much what I've gathered from the Black experience with MS. It's just to,
I think you touched on a lot of great important things, especially for the Black community and Latinx community. And that's some of the stuff that I have in my research based on, the differences, the resources, the what am I trying to say? The barriers, all the things that we experience for our communities. Who's to say someone lives where you do and they don't have a car? How are they going to get to the medical office, right? We both live far from the MS center. Without a car here in Georgia, how do you get there? You have to take a lift. How much is that? A lot,
100,
a lot.
I'm sure, spitballing.
Just imagine, just that's just one little aspect, the transportation. What if you didn't even have healthcare insurance? Sure, you could get that ride to the medical place, but how are you going to pay for the MRIs? How are you going to pay for that lumbar puncture? How are you going to pay for that blood work? How are you going to pay for that doctor to tell you, hey, you have a mess. This is what we need to do. Treatment is expensive. I looked at
Yeah.
my insurance, the bill or whatever.
Mhm.
It was like a down payment for a house,
No, it is. And
literally.
thankfully, I was still on my dad's TRICARE. So a lot of that, thanks US government, came from there, but it was still a lot of stuff that we had to pay out of pocket, and they're not going to run those tests until you paid out of pocket. I'm like, dang, lady, y'all got this fall risk bracelet on me. You not gonna run this test because y'all want some $100 in this loud machine?
That's true. I had to for my MRI, they told me it was going to be around like nine to $1,000 that I had to pay out of pocket. Luckily, I was approved for financial assistance that I didn't have to pay. But imagine you don't get approved and you don't have that money.
See, that's the thing that I don't like. And all the times that I know you were recently diagnosed 2 years ago, all the medications have some type of financial aid
Mhm.
to where you're not paying the $3,000 to $5,000 a month
Yeah.
for the medication. Why not just make it that price if you know no one can afford that? Because
Yeah.
aren't you guys cheating yourselves out of it anyway?
Yeah.
I've
It's a
always
lot.
had that question. I was like, so we went from $3,500 a month for this medication that I have to take for an illness that I couldn't avoid
Yeah.
to now just $20 a month.
Yeah.
What kind of math is that?
Yeah. And that's something that I want to touch on as well. So some of the things that I got was so there's a big misconception that multiple sclerosis predominantly affects white women, but studies have indicated that the Hispanic and Latinx individuals with the MS may develop the disease early and experience greater disability than their white counterparts. So MS basically manifests differently among different ethnic groups, different individuals, making it essential for all diagnosed patients to proactively discuss disease modifying treatments with their doctors to slow the progression. So we call those disease modifying treatments DMTs. So that's Tati taking Ocrevus. That's me taking Briumvi. That's the treatment that we get to help slow down the progression of MS. And recent update, I was actually experiencing a lot of infections because of the Briumvi, the DMTs that so not to get so scientific with it, we did on the first episode discuss what MS was and we didn't get into the scientific part, but what the DMTs are basically doing, well, Ocrevus and Briumvi, I know for sure, are depleting our B cells. And those B cells are one of the cells that kind of help us fight infections. So something I was struggling for a while was getting infections over and over. So I had a talk with a neurologist, and he decided to, instead of have me take treatments once every 6 months, we're going to do once every 9 months. So that's going to be once a year that I will receive treatment, hoping that, I don't have an increase in infections because of them. So far, Tati hasn't experienced that. And I really hope that she does not, because it sucks. It sucks having to be sick all the time. It sucks having to have UTIs all the time. These are some of the things that I was dealing with because of Briumvi, and it just sucks. But overall, a lot of underrepresented populations often face healthcare disparities due to factors like social discriminants of health, language barriers. That's something that I feel like I'm so privileged for. Even though I am a daughter of immigrants, my parents do speak Spanish, but I was born here in America. I went to school here in America. My mom put me through speech and ESOL to kind of help me advance in school and advance in life. So I feel like I'm fortunate enough not to have that language barrier when it comes to seeking medical help and not being able to speak that same language. I didn't even think of that when I was researching this, or even being Hispanic or Latina. Like, I couldn't imagine not being able to tell your doctor what's going on with you. They don't know what you're saying, right? But there's definitely other gaps, such as cultural competencies among healthcare providers, cultural values in the Hispanic Latinx community, such as respect or familiarism, which is basically putting family as the top of well being. And um, those could also, contribute to challenges. So it's also vital for individuals in this community to advocate for themselves. Like Dati said, advocacy is very important in both of our communities, and just being open to speak with healthcare providers. So, and that's the thing that I feel like you touched on as well.
Yes, that is very true.
And, I was watching, before we started this podcast, I was watching this documentary, and there were some good insights or some good things that they said. And I told Tati, I kept interrupting her, and I felt
Yeah, I
bad.
had to press the space button. I'm
Yeah,
like,
she
I
had to
guess I'm just
pause.
not doing my research at all.
But it was great stuff. So it's basically a group of Latinos who had MS. And it was a documentary of them and their lives. And in the Latino community and in the Black community, a lot of times we're heavily religious, and they put faith first and foremost for everything. So as I'm watching this documentary, there's this man who said that if God's word is true, right? If his faith is valuable and his faith is real, then he's going to stop receiving his treatment because he wants to be cured by faith. And when I first got diagnosed, and I was telling Tati about this earlier, there's this podcast called Things You Should Know. Have you ever heard of that podcast?
No.
It's a good podcast. It's with these two guys, and they touch on different topics, like things you should know. And they had an episode on MS. And one of the hosts, he mentioned that he was kind of hesitant on doing the podcast because he knew somebody with MS and they had passed away. And he said this in the beginning of the podcast. And I remember this was the very beginning after I was recently diagnosed. And I remember asking myself, should I listen to this knowing that he knew somebody who died? And this was right before I did all the research that I did, everything that I know right now. I'm still living in the fear of unknown. My anxiety, I'm feeling overwhelmed, everything that I'm feeling. I was like, should I continue this podcast? But I did. I found out that the reason the guy died was because he didn't take MS seriously. He wasn't receiving treatment. He wasn't taking care of himself. I think he had a drinking problem. He wasn't doing anything to help him live a sustainable life. So he passed away. And there was another episode I listened to with Messy with Christina Applegate and Jamie Lynn Sigler. And they had a guest who was an artist. And he said in the beginning, he didn't receive his treatments either because in the beginning he felt like most of his symptoms were mild and he felt like he was normal. Definitely, I feel like he was heavy in denial and it caught up to him. And Tati, I remember you sharing a story about you knew somebody.
Well, I heard about, there's always people like, oh, I have a friend who had MS, but at my job, someone came because she saw my cup and she asked me if I had multiple sclerosis. I was like, yes. And she said she had a sister who passed away a couple years ago because she didn't take MS seriously. She just kind of got the diagnosis and just let her body kind of wither away. They tried to get her to move because movement is like a huge part of it because our bodies do get stiff.
So wait, she wasn't moving at all? Like she was
Well, like,
in her bed or something?
yeah, like she was pretty much like she made herself bedridden. And I was like the same person. Like I told you, my old manager's friend was the same way. Like she didn't leave her house. She was bedridden. She barely moved. All the delivery services would come to her. So she would only like go to the door to open it. And that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody's like, oh, I'm so happy to see you like moving and living life. And I'm like, well, they told me I had MS. They didn't say I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like
it wasn't terminal.
Right. Right. Shots fired. He knows who he is. So I never really understood that point.
Yeah.
But that's why they say depression is really high in MS.
Yeah.
And those people probably just had depression because you have to grieve who you once were.
Yes, you do.
Like, do you think I like getting sleepy at 9:30 p.m.?
Yeah, you did. You knocked her out.
I KO immediately.
Yes, but they passed, right? That person that you were talking about?
Yeah.
They passed.
They passed away and they left behind 2 children.
I didn't know she had kids.
Yeah. And I think that's more heartbreaking for me because I'm like, I don't want my son to be like, my mom just stopped moving. He gave up. She's
hard.
Not there for me anymore.
That's hard. Yeah. So there's people in the documentary, these Latinos, that guy shared that he wanted to stop treatment because he wanted to be cured by his faith. And then they kind of segued away to this guy. He said he went to a support group and there was a guy in a wheelchair. And the guy in a wheelchair said, I am how I am because I stopped my treatment. Right. And someone else asked, do you remember why you stopped? Like, why did you stop taking your treatment? He responded, because of his faith and believing that God will heal him. So then he said, eventually he just realized that God is God, but God is not a magician either. And then he said, for me, the doctors are the gift from God for my health. And I thought that was just very heavy. And I thought that was very inspirational. And it sucks. It sucks that he ended up being in a wheelchair. I couldn't imagine. And that's something that we are very fortunate, you and I.
Right.
We're not in a wheelchair.
Because when I first got diagnosed, that was the first thing that came up. Like, I'm like, I'm going to lose my ability to walk. Like, I literally asked neurologists, I was like, so how long do I have before I can't walk anymore? And they're like, yeah, that's why we told you not to Google stuff. They were like, that's a really bad stigma. It's only when it progresses to a certain point where you might lose your ability to walk. But as long as you exercise and you take care of yourself and stick with your treatment, you'll be able to.
But I feel like that's conversations we should have, especially from our healthcare providers.
Right.
Because we do see people with MS who are in wheelchairs.
Mm-hmm.
So
they have to walk.
Yeah. So I don't think, ultimately taking care of yourself will 1000% prevent you from being in a wheelchair. But you're going to just decrease those chances.
Right.
Of becoming in a wheelchair. So we're not saying you're guaranteed never going to do it.
I'm perfectly fine with when I turn 62.
Like, I was like, where is she going when you turn
when I turn 62, I might end up in a wheelchair.
Yeah. But not right now.
I've had a long life of walking.
60 is still a baby.
It's time for me to sit down.
I would say 90.
Girl, who's trying to live that long, honey?
There are people,
baby,
who are 90
and you
walking
know what?
In relationships, going out on dates.
Bless them. Bless them.
Bless.
I'm be completely honest with you. The world how it is now, I don't think I want to stay that long. Be Honestly, I don't
You
think
lose a lot of people.
And then, right!
Yeah.
Who gonna be at my funeral? Let me tell you. Ready?
Not who.
Look, ready? No one. That's okay.
But yes, we touched on a lot of great things. I do want to end how that documentary ended. It was a woman. She said, it could be really depressing having MS. There's the mental factor of that. It sucks. It's like the fear of the unknown. What's going to happen to me?
Yeah,
What's
that's a
going
big
on
thing.
to me? What is my body doing? What's wrong with me?
Mhm.
Right? A lot of factors go into it, but I love that she said, it's easy to go into that darkness and to feel that darkness, but it's also rewarding when you fight to get out of it. And I
Right.
love when she said that. Don't stay in that darkness. Don't stay by yourself. Don't be alone. Don't isolate yourself.
Right.
Lean on your support. And that's something we do advocate on our podcast. Lean on your support. Don't and ghost people.
JoJo found out the many different supports there are, especially in the Black community.
What you mean?
With my friends, where my friends support.
I haven't met all your friends. What's a nice way to say that your friends sound like haters?
They're not haters.
Are you sure?
No, they're
Okay.
not haters. It's the fact, when you go through like trauma and you just have like dark humor.
Yeah. We
That's
have dark humor too.
right, but theirs is dark. Like
It's on the friends of hater.
you know how like Cartoon Network had Adult Swim?
Yeah.
That's that humor. It switches over
Yeah.
to that. So as much as like they are clowns, I know like at a moment notice they're gonna drop everything and help me for whatever reason.
That's how it is in the Latino community. So you know they mean well.
Right.
That's why I said I don't know your friends.
Yeah, no, trust me, we wouldn't be friends if I felt like they genuinely did not care about me.
Okay.
But
well,
I know how much they care about me and how much they love me and support me.
Yeah.
I'll take whatever strange way of love they have. I know it's genuine love.
Out of love.
Because it's been over a decade of friendship.
Yeah.
And you don't get that anymore.
Yeah.
People are really quick to drop you over anything.
That's true.
So, and I do think how they treat me helps me not be in that like mindset, like, oh, I'm single.
But you also are very sarcastic. So it makes sense now.
Yeah.
It definitely makes sense. So, okay.
And I also think it helps with my mental because they say you have to do like brain exercises, and to be able to come back to them.
So talking crap is brain exercises?
Yeah, because I got to come back with the wits.
Oh, okay. So let's see what else I have.
I do like how both communities are connected.
Yeah, we are.
Because it always seems like there's like a separation, but there's a lot of things that are similar.
There's a lot of things are similar. That's why I don't understand the hate and the racism. I don't get it because we both communities we struggle with different barriers in different ways and sometimes similar ways. But it's like, ugh.
Well, that's the same thing within the Black community. There's hate within like the colorism type thing.
Yeah.
So
that's in the Latino community as well.
Right. Like
definitely.
It's some weird inbred hate that strived from one end and unfortunately was right. And unfortunately taught we're not going to go into the political aspects of racism in each community, but
that's not what this podcast is about.
Right.
Or this episode at least.
It could be a future endeavor. Let us know in the review if you'd like to hear more things about this.
We could talk about it.
Right. So it's just something that's learned.
With
unfortunately, it's learned and people feel very strongly about it. Yeah. But I think that's why when we come together and point out, here's how we're similar. Stop focusing on what
you said it.
Here's how we're similar. Because you have to slow things down for people for them to understand.
But you kind of sound like a commercial.
Here's how we're similar. Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday.
Stop it.
But I'm just saying that I think it's very positive and needed. Yeah. Because if we're like in the waiting room together and you're having the same issue with your doctor and they're not taking your pain seriously, and I'm having the same issue with my doctor and I'm taking my pain seriously, then it's a POC issue because our pain, though it's not the same, it's still pain that we're feeling on a level that we both can understand.
Definitely.
And I think that's the main thing. We're not the same. And MS is not the same for everyone. Yeah. But it's on a level where I can understand.
Yes, I love that you touched on that. Let me see what else I have. I listened to a episode on another podcast with a girl who was first generation Mexican American, and she lives in Arizona. And it just made me think like I mean, Georgia's humidity sucks. However, I couldn't imagine living in a hotter area dealing with heat intolerance, or not just that, like living in a rural area where maybe you don't have medical offices available, or maybe you don't have people who are expertise in
Mhm.
MS, and you're experiencing all these symptoms, but nobody could tell you what's going on with you.
Right.
Right. So a lot of things that I myself didn't think about because I live in the city, just about.
Right. I was about to
Yeah,
say, girl, no, you do not.
just about adjacent,
No,
city
you
adjacent,
adjacent.
city adjacent.
Um,
Another thing that I found interesting, sorry to interrupt, but it was just interesting to hear all the people who were basically ignoring that they had MS or denying it and just
you
not
don't
seeking
you
treatment.
don't say denying that they had it. We'll come
And
back to it.
and it's like, I mean, I didn't delay my treatment for years and years. I just delayed it for a few months
First of all,
because
we not
yes,
just gonna speed past these.
I wasn't now.
I thought it was like a couple of days, not months.
I delayed it a few months.
I mean, that's not terrible.
Yeah,
I
that's what
skipped
I'm saying.
treatment for like a year,
Exactly.
but
A whole year.
it
Mine was
wasn't
just
because
a
I
few
was in
months.
denial.
Whatever.
I'm just saying. I mean, when they showed your MRI and that thing lit up like a Christmas tree, what other proof did you need?
I needed proof.
You needed your body to MRI or lumbar. You needed a lumbar tap. That's what you wanted. You wanted your lumbar tap,
Anywho,
and it was gonna say
I
MS in your fluid.
just a lot of things I didn't think about, maybe having a neurologist who doesn't speak Spanish or having a translator available, just a lot of barriers that I didn't think about myself or even generation wise. Because our parents and our parents' parents, they lived a different life than us. They didn't have social media. It was
They had
pull,
encyclopedias.
but
Bars.
it wasn't like expressing your feelings or taking a break.
No.
It was just we
You
gotta
gotta
get
hit the
things
railroad
done.
track. You gotta be
Put
home
your
by
feelings put it in a
right.
box.
It doesn't matter.
Put your feelings in a box, keep it in the closet, lock it up. Like it wasn't expressing the things that you were going through. So a lot of generational differences that I didn't even think about
That
myself.
just reminded me of that TikTok, and they're like, when you told your parents you had depression, they're like, you better depress them shorts to some irons.
That part, that part, and
Oh my
depression
god,
and MS, you gotta take care of yourself.
they go hand in hand.
Especially, you gotta take care of yourself.
And I
Yeah,
was also thinking, your medical history,
yeah,
where like you might be the first in your family to have MS, or you might not, and
yeah,
that person just didn't know.
yeah.
And you'd be like, well, your uncle Elroy had the same issues, but we thought it was gout.
And thought it was because he was smoking all the
Right.
time.
He'd like to smoke them cigarettes, honey. I thought it was just cancer. Okay. Well,
It was a mess.
Right. It was a mess. And I think he passed it down to me. And I'm not a smoker. So I think it's very important because I think that's one thing we always fill in your paperwork. Like, do you have a history of blood pressure
Yeah.
and everything? And I know a lot of people, especially in the Black community, do not know their medical background or
Yeah.
medical history.
Yeah.
And it's like pulling teeth because A, they don't want to ask, or B, people don't want to tell you.
Or maybe they're not even in their lives.
That too.
They don't even communicate
Or
with them.
or D, they've never gotten checked because again, we're in that generation where they didn't like to go to the doctor. So I feel like this generation,
and that right there is just heavy because of maybe not having the means, maybe not having the finances, not having healthcare, not thinking that anything's wrong and thinking you can handle
well,
it.
also not allowed. 'Cause if
Not
you go
allowed.
out to, white doctors and black
Yeah.
doctors, you don't
Yeah.
really hear about black doctors.
Yeah.
You hear like, hey, come get this shot, but actually they're being like testing new medication and shooting everybody with a horrible illness to take him out. So
I remember learning about the Tuskegee syphilis. Oh,
right. So it's just it's a lot of, and that's why I feel like our generation is moving mountains and setting trends to actually know our medical history, go to
Yeah.
the doctor, advocate for
That's
ourselves.
important.
And that way our children understand what that looks like.
Yeah.
And they can move forward and have that because again,
having MS sucks.
Our parents and grandparents, A, didn't have the means, B,
Yeah.
didn't have the access, C, didn't have the money, D, didn't have the confidence in the medical field
Not to
because of
mention
history.
we have a lot of resources now.
Right.
We have social media, we have Google. A lot of them grew up with no Google.
Right. They grew up with
just talking to each other.
No, Auntie Carolyn's Book of Medicine. She said if you put some blackberries and some lime bush on it, it'll clear up in 2 days. And although some of those treatments do still work, I'm not gonna hold you. Those old school remedies are fire.
Yes, some of them work.
I still use them on Braylon. We can. Baby, you better get you a greenhouse in the back and start growing some stuff, because I still do it to my son sometimes.
That part.
So it definitely does work. Natural is great, but when it comes to your health and your
certain things do need medication.
Right.
Yes. Because I've been playing the Oregon Trail and some people have been dying with the remedies.
No. The game?
Yes.
Okay.
So I would give them the remedies and they would die. I'm like, why are you dying with my remedies? Or if I give them the medication and they die, I'm like,
you are really comparing this to a game.
So, what was I going to say?
Nothing.
Some things do need medication. Some things do require medication.
Medical profession.
Yes. It's 2025. You know, people were dying from diarrhea back then.
Oh.
Now we got medicine.
I would have said a headache. Just go for the latter. I got you.
Because of the Oregon Trail.
Clearly.
People were dying from simple colds because they didn't have medicine. Sometimes you need that medicine. Okay, those remedies. Vaporo.
For those of you who don't speak Spanish, she said vapora in Spanish.
In Spanish. But that's all I have. Do you have anything else, Sally?
No, that's all I have.
Okay.
I really loved the interview with those ladies. It was 3 people with MS, a caretaker, and a neurologist.
Send me that. I'm gonna send you the documentary.
You sent it to me.
I did.
I was already reading and watching it, and you said, I'm like, that's what I'm on right now. Okay, leave.
Okay, and let me pull up chords
for our final.
Oh, I like this one.
Okay.
I like this one.
What is it called? Our Espanol.
Oh, yes. Whoever's, if you're new and you haven't listened to the past, the beginning, we start with our moments of gratitude, but we end with the best self in Espanol. And today we got Si podrías escribir un libro, ¿de qué trataría?
All right. Which means
if you were ever to write a book, what would it be about? So I said it was a good one, right?
Write a book.
Yeah. If you were to ever write a book, what would it be about?
It would be about, dang, it's a good one, but it's also hard because I have a lot of things in my mind that could be a book.
It wouldn't be about MS.
There's more than enough books about MS.
We got the podcast for that.
Period. I think it would be about life. I don't want to say before the internet. I want to say life before social media attention.
Before people wanting to just do things for the clout?
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense.
A book before the clout. Life before the clout.
Life before people were just being fake
because
just doing things.
It's become so annoying now. I'm gonna use an example. There's a couple on TikTok, and they always go viral for these crazy situations. Oh, he want me to get an abortion, and he's trying to leave me with his other baby mama's mom. These situations that are pretty much rage bait.
Yeah.
And I don't think people in the comments know it's rage bait, because if you look at their profile, it's a lot of just different stipulation and stuff. One day he's playing the boyfriend, next day he's playing baby daddy, next day he's playing the son.
Yeah.
It's a lot of skits, and it's rage bait. And you have these lives that are black men, why do you hate black women? Black women, why are you so over black men? These rage bait things that are just so annoying, all for little gifts that are it's money, but is it worth the money for real to get online and argue with strangers? And I just miss authenticity. Same thing with TV shows, WWE. Fake as doorknobs now. It's not even before I thought it was real, but
you said that, I'm where are you going with this?
it's always been fake apparently, but when I was a kid, it looked real. But now because of like social media and like everyone has their phone in their hand, like it's fake now. Same thing with people ruining concerts. I didn't pay $300 to stand behind someone whose phone's in the air, or for the girl next to me who be screaming her life away with her phone at her doing a video of herself singing the song.
Yeah.
It's just become so, I want to stay in the house all the time because I dislike everyone. Because it's just so much social media. And I used to be like, dang, I don't really post the stuff I'm doing because I'm from a generation where I just enjoy the moment I'm in.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to like have my pictures of my friends and pictures of where I am. And granted, I do take those pictures, but guess where they are?
Still on your phone?
Yeah, still on my phone, taking up storage.
I cannot.
And I keep saying, I'm like, I'm gonna print them out and get a photo album and stuff like that. And I just never got around to do it. So I would create, to go back to the question, I would create a book, Life Before Clout.
Life Before Clout. I like that. Definitely like that.
Especially during the time where people were licking ice cream and putting it back in the freezers at stores. Like that whole period.
There's something that
it was ridiculous.
Just kept that to yourself.
People not keeping their secrets to themselves. Like, baby, you did not have to come on the internet to share it. None of that.
We didn't need to know.
We didn't need to know that.
That could have stayed a secret.
Yeah, what was that? What was that? Don't judge me challenge? No, I'm judging you because you just said your 3 babies is your uncle's, but you let your baby daddy boyfriend think that it was in the car with all your friends. And
it just kept getting worse.
I don't know if that was a skit or what, but we couldn't be friends after that. And I'm telling.
You telling? Who are you telling?
The police, because incest is illegal, and I'm telling your boyfriend. Cause what?
It's too much. It's too much.
Like the secrets, and then also people not having the.
Sometimes you need mystery. Yeah, you just need that mystery. It just the lack of shame, the lack of embarrassment.
And no one's embarrassed anymore.
Some things we did not need to know. Yeah, you could have kept that to yourself.
So I think it would be like a 4-part book series.
Different
Life Before Clout, and
different versions.
It's gonna be Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat.
Those could go all in one.
No, because it's different ones now because stuff they be doing is for different things. Now, TikTok and Vine can go together because Vine musically and TikTok, same thing.
Yeah.
They just graduated with each other. But, so it's a 4-part book series. Don't steal my idea, whoever's listening to this.
I wonder if it's already out there.
It probably is, but
that was a long
explanation.
Answer.
It was. I'm sorry.
Yes, but I did help. Let me see what a book possibly. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing like a autobiography about my life.
Top 10 or the best autobiography I've ever heard is My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy.
Oh yeah, I want to read that.
It was such a good one. I would listen to the audiobook because it's her reading it.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna do that instead. So I can do it in the car. No, maybe or what people call it now, a memoir.
Ooh.
A memoir or
people
autobiography.
Try to sound so fancy, and they're like,
memoir does sound fancy though. Memoir. But after you gotta drink. Why do you say that?
But when people say that, but I'm like, but who are you though? That you need a memoir.
I am me. I'm JoJo.
Is your memoir for your children? Like, did you do something?
I hope everyone has a great day. Please like and share and subscribe. Thank you. Adios. Bye. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today for another episode. We hope you found our discussion insightful and useful.
Please be sure to like, subscribe, leave comments, and share with your closest friends and family. Be sure to follow us on all streaming platforms as well as social media, X, aka Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Anti-Myelin Society, as well as give us an email if you have any questions, comments, and or concerns at antimyelin@gmail.com. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Bye.